Hey guys, what's going on? It's B3 here, and I'm back with a second installment in the series that I like to call the highs and lows of Classic World of Warcraft. So, before I go on, I'd like to apologize for the long hiatus that I took between videos. I got the opportunity to greatly improve the quality of my rig, and what that's going to mean is hopefully better quality videos going forward. Hopefully, it'll be a little bit more enjoyable to watch and not so just poor quality. So, if you don't know what the highs and lows of Classic World of Warcraft is, it's a little series I've started that it's going to be taking a look back at all different points of Classic World of Warcraft, from races, zones, classes, raiding, PvP, everything like that, and just taking a hard look at what I think were the strengths, the shortcomings, how everything compares today compared to back then, all that different kind of stuff. After taking a few years break from playing Classic World of Warcraft, it's just been really enjoyable to go back and play through everything again and just experience all the things that I experienced when I first started playing and just raid everything all over again. So today we're going to be moving on with another starting zone, and that's going to be Classic Durotar. Now Durotar is one of the most iconic zones of Classic World of Warcraft, and I think that's largely in parts due to the fact that the race choices. You have orcs and trolls, and when you think of the Horde, even in today's standards, you think of orcs and trolls. They're just part of that backbone, right? It's what you think of, and I think this is really what just solidifies Durotar's feeling as just gritty, nitty part of Classic World of Warcraft. So, starting off today, I think we're going to go in the lows. We'll start with the lows and then end with the highs, just like we always do. And although Classic Durotar has a very strong vibe of the Horde, one of the places that I think Durotar was kind of let down by Blizzard is the separation of lore between the races. Now, logging in for the first time, you get the cinematic played for the orcs, and it says, you are a member of the orcs. You are part of the Horde. That's not questioned at all. What is questioned is, are you strong enough to keep up? It's a question of individuality when it comes to the orcs. Are you going to prove yourself through blood, sweat, and tears, through grit and strength? Are you going to do whatever it takes to become an important member of the orcs? Now, let's take a look at the trolls. When you log in, it says, you are a shadow hunter, you are the complete opposite of the orcs. You need to prove that your race belongs, not just your individuality, your individual self, excuse me. You need to prove that your people belong. And I think that's very important to kind of remember, because you're trying to prove as a whole that you belong rather than individually. And I think this kind of it just didn't really follow through and come through as well as Blizzard had hoped, because by the end of the starting zone, you, as an orc player, I would say that yes, you believe that you yourself, by accomplishing the deeds that you have done, belong. Now, for trolls, I would say not so much. I would have to question it, because going past Sen'jin Village and maybe the Echo Isles, it just turns straight back into an orc-based zone. I don't think that a player would think that they accomplished what they set out to do. Like, did you accomplish your goal, right? Like, you might have cleared your name a little bit, but you really just fade back into the orc shadow moving past Sen'jin Village. So, for that reason, we're gonna put the separation of lore between races on the lows for this section. Now, we're going to move on with just lore in general. And I don't think it is a high at all for Durotar. Now, why? Well, while Durotar does a very good job of incorporating many different things for you to fight, many different aspects of WoW and Warcraft that you're exposed to, I don't think it does a very good job of explaining why you are fighting these things, or why it is your mission to exterminate races or different parts of the zone from the map. So you're fighting orcs as an orc. You're fighting trolls as a troll. Then you start to fight humans. I mean, it doesn't really mesh together as well as I think it did. It's very interesting, but not widely understood why it is that you're fighting demons, then orcs, then trolls. I mean, I think it could have gone a lot better. That's what I'm gonna leave it as. So finally, rounding off the lows, I think is the music. Now this is the most controversial one I have on my list because um, the music sets the mood well, right? Like you know that you're in a desolate area. There's not much life around you. You're gonna have to um, fight to survive, but it just grows tiresome very quickly. It doesn't change very much. It just kind of average, in my opinion. And while it does change when you go to the Echo Isles, when you're going to fight, the Alliance and the Keep, I'm gonna put it on the low section because for my personal views, I just don't think it's that great, and it just grows tired very quickly. All right, moving on to the highs because I think Durotar is a high zone and overall very good. We're gonna go with questing, and I think there's very many memorable moments for questing and Durotar. Starting off, we're gonna start with Zalazane, and man, it is just one of the most memorable quests I think in any starting zone for Classic World of Warcraft because you don't really experience anything like this up to this point in the zone where there are just, dozens of these mobs around. They all have, ranged potential. They can heal. If you're a hunter, you can't out DPS them before they can heal, and you're in their melee zone, and all hell breaks loose. And then you finally conquer your way to Zalazane, and then he's just twice as hard as any of the other mobs that you've fought in, and just very memorable, very difficult for a new player who's not even level 6, 7, but very memorable, and I think that's a high. Moving on, we're going to go into Lieutenant Benedict, as you can see right here in the video, and I think that this is definitely one of the most memorable ones as well because although you don't really know why you're fighting the Alliance, it is very clear that you should not like these people, and the architecture, if nothing else, just explains to you that they're nothing like you, and it's kind of a nice little change in the zone where you can see humans, and you kind of get that feeling where you want to exterminate them and not have them there anymore. Not also that, but you get to climb the tower. It's just a castle. It just gets that real medieval feeling among the just desertous waste that you're in that you don't really feel anywhere else in the zone. And moving on, we will talk about Fizzled Darkstorm. And I don't know if this is just me, but I had a really hard time with this quest when I was younger because he was a patrolling mob, just like Zalazane. It's very hard if you don't have range potential. It's very hard not to pull too many. Most of the time you would need a questing buddy or something like that, something to help you, and it was very difficult, but I think it's very memorable as one of those last quests. Is kind of just a side quest hub, but also very memorable. And to finish off the memorable moments for questing, I'm going to go on the Shaman Totem quest. Now, a lot of people don't enjoy the Shaman Totem quests, and I can understand that, but for the starting zones, I think the Shaman Totem quests are actually very enjoyable because you don't have to do too much traveling, but also it encourages you to go travel and see places, explore the world that you would have never known about if it wasn't for the Shaman Totem quests, right? Like no other class besides shamans know to climb this giant mountain with this tiny little path that you don't even think is an actual path, except for shamans, to go find your fire, or your fire rock or whatever it is. It's one of those really cool spots that makes you just really immersed and feel that class feel that vanilla was just packed with, and I just think that was great. Like the first time I did that, I was just in awe because you're just barely tiptoeing around this mountain, like trying not to fall off, and I just think it's great. Like yes, the other shaman class totem things might fall apart further on for water and air, but for earth and fire, I think very good job and very memorable and just one of the best parts of classic Durotar. So moving on, we're gonna go into the next high, which is progression. Now, I think progression is pretty good. You move quickly through the Den of Trials, Sen'jin Village, and Razor Hill might go a little bit longer than they should, but they're not bad. Like, you might have to do a little bit of traveling, but You're not stuck in one spot for too long. You're not having to run back and forth for the most part. It's done quite well in my opinion, and couldn't have been done much better. Moving on, we're going to talk about difficulty, and difficulty is honestly perfect, I think, in my opinion. Aside from Zalazane and maybe Fizzle, some of the ones where just there's a little bit too much crowding, I think it's perfect because you don't ever need help with anything, and you're not really ever too challenged on anything but maybe the final step of a quest line. And that's exactly how I think these things should be handled, because it's a starting zone. You shouldn't need to be put into this position where you're thinking you should grind instead of just doing your starting zone quests. I mean, it's a starting zone. You know, it should be easy enough for the newest of player without any experience to be able to handle it. And just throwing a little bit more difficult section at the very end of a quest line, I think is perfect. It encourages that MMO feel to start making friends, talking to other people. It's perfect. And finally, we're going to talk about the mood. I've hit on this a little bit already in this video, but I think that the mood delivers quite well. You know that Durotar is a hard place to live in. It's just everywhere. It's just orange, almost endlessly orange and just desertous, and you just know that you're gonna have to put up, or put out I should say, to be able to make it here, and that it's not gonna be easy. It's in complete contrast to say Elwyn Forest or Teldrassil or anything like that where it's lush and green. This is a hard place, and you're gonna have to be a hard person and a strong person to be able to make it here. So for that, I'm gonna have to give the mood I'm gonna have to put it on the high list, because it is survival of the fittest, and you're either gonna make it or you're gonna die trying. So that's all I have for this zone. I would love to hear what you guys think in the comment section. I again apologize for the very long hiatus that I've had, but I'm gonna try to get back into streaming, and my rig's a lot better now, so hopefully the quality's better, as I said at the beginning of this video. Please let me know what you would like me to do for any further videos. I'm very open to suggestions. I'm hoping or thinking of just continuing to do the starting zones, maybe talking about classes soon, maybe a little bit about races. But yeah, I'd really like to hear what you guys think, and please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I can't wait to hear back from everyone and see you guys in the next video. Thank you very much for your support, and I will talk to you next time. Bye.